well, not like always, but here we go. We're starting a new one. I'm starting on this new Google screen, and I'm going to open a new Google slide. By now, everybody should be familiar with going to Google and opening up a blank Google slide. So there we go. I got my blank slide. It always has this click to add text. We want to get that out of there. Same thing as before. I'm going to click at the bottom, drag, delete. And for now, this is going to be just setting up our city. This is all we need is one slide. Later on, I'll post a video about how we're going to animate our city, which shouldn't be that complicated. All right, we're going to be doing a couple of new tools here, but I'll get there. When I get there, you'll obviously know because there'll be different stuff. But let's go up here to the shape tool. Let's get a square or rectangle, whichever one you want to call it. We're going to use that to cover the background or the back, the whole page, whichever thing feels best to you to call it. We're going to take the outline off. Remember, that is the pencil. We're going to hit transparent so that way it's not there. And we want to give it a nice color. So because this is supposed to be like our sky, let's give it a light color. So I'm going to be mostly working at these reds. You can choose to do something different. That is totally up to you. All right, so now that I have my sky, I'm just going to leave that like that. Then I'm going to make some type of cloud. It's not going to be exactly clouds, but something like clouds. So then I'm going to do circle. And remember, you can do something a little bit different. I have examples. So not everything needs to look exactly the same. This is just basically giving you some ideas on how to use the program to make what you want to make. So these are going to be like my clouds. And there is a cloud shape in there if you want it to look more cloud-esque. And I don't want that color, obviously. So I'll go a little bit darker. Take the stroke or outline off. And then since I don't want to have to keep selecting the circle tool to make more, because I'm going to make these across the screen here, I'm just going to cut and paste. So I'm going to do control, as long as I have that selected, I'm going to say control C, control V, that gives me another one. And then I can change like the shape of it. Like I can mess around with it. Maybe I want this one to be a big one, right? You know? Then I'll do it again, control V. It's going to be a little bit down some. I don't want them to look exactly like circles. I don't want you to think, oh, he just put circles on there. Obviously, that's what I'm doing, but I kind of want that not to show through. And then control V. It's going to make a really long one. And then I'm going to get one of these big ones again. I'll say control C, control V. Just make one big one, and then control V. I got another big one. I'll put that one like that. All right. So before I move on to my next layer here, I'm going to try to connect these together. I'm going to get a square or rectangle and put that across. Try to get as much of it as possible. Might have to get two, but let me change the color for this one. Outline off, color, this one. I'm gonna get one more square. Right, you know what? I can just cut and paste this one, and I'll just change the size. Control C, Control V. I'll just change the size and put that right there. So now I'm going to hold control and I'm going to select all my pieces and I'm going to group them to make them into one big image or one big shape. So hold and control, click, click, click. And make sure you're looking at that little light blue line that goes around your different shapes. That's what you got to pay attention to. And now they're all selected. I'm gonna do it a different way. I'm gonna go up here to where it says arrange today, click on that, and then say group. All right, so now all that is one thing. All right, new tool. So I'm gonna put a mountain here now. So to make my mountain, I'm gonna go to line, and then I'm gonna hit the little arrow next to the line shape, line tool. And then I'm gonna say Polyline. And this is going to give me the ability to kind of make whatever shape I want. This tool is kind of finicky. What you want to do is make sure, well, I'll show you. So you click, right? And then you can move it, and then you can see it makes like a line. Then you can click again, then you move it, and it keeps making a new line. And this is me like basically drawing a shape. The problem with this is that if you click too close together, like let's say I do this, then it stops drawing. So you want to make sure you kind of move far enough that so that way the computer doesn't think that you're trying to end what you're doing. So that's why this is I'm saying it's like finicky, because it's very easy for it to just stop on you and then you have to start all over. So make sure you're always moving far enough away. So I'm gonna click, move up some. So I gotta move away. Make sure you move away from it, or from wherever you clicked last, or it definitely will mess up. So this is gonna be like a mountain here. Doesn't have to be absolutely a perfect mountain. It just needs to be, you know, jagged like a mountain. Just clicking, go down. This part doesn't have to be perfect because you're not going to see it. Then when you get to the end, you just go right back to where you started, and then click on it. Then it's going to fill in. And I don't want it to be that color. I want it to be a little bit darker again. And take the outline off. There you go. So now I got my mountain. Right, this is how I did my other one. Ooh. All right. So now I am down to my city finally. So now I'm going to use the same tool, and I'm basically going to make rectangles to make my city. Because I'm kind of down the page a little bit further down than I want, I'm going to move some of my stuff up. And then I'm moving my mountain up. And that's okay if it's showing at the bottom for now, because I'm going to cover that. All right, so now let's go to my city. I'm gonna use the same polygon line tool. If you want to just use the rectangle tool, that's perfectly fine with that. So I'm gonna start out here in this white space. And I'm gonna hold shift while I'm making these, so that way the line that it makes stays straight. I don't want it to be crooked or too crooked. Like sometimes I want a crooked one, like, you know, for example, this one. Slanted, but I don't want a lot of them slanted, you know. I don't want it like slanted to a point where it looks like I messed up. I want it to look slanted like I did it on purpose. And while you're making these buildings, just keep in mind that this is one, the first set of buildings, two, that it is, you know, just the first layer, and you can always add more detail, and that's what, you know, is going to make everybody's stuff look a little bit different, is the amount of detail. And that's what makes it take longer. You know, if somebody spends a lot of time on detail, not only do they end up with something that looks better, but they end up with a, you know, more complex city. You know, if you just do a couple of rectangles, you know, it's not going to look very nice, and then you're going to wonder why yours doesn't look as nice as somebody else's. So I'm just taking my time here. I'm trying to make sure that I move far enough away from where I just clicked at every time. So that way this thing doesn't mess up on me. I'm actually surprised it hasn't thus far. And remember, these buildings, these are just, these are my starter buildings. So obviously I'm going to add more detail to them. And I can use different tools to add more detail to them. Almost there. All right, there we go. Let's just come back around and link these two together. Then it's going to give you this color. And since I've been using red, I'm going to switch up the color now to something a little bit different. Let's try this purplish color, light purple color. And that kind of looks like gray. So what I'm going to do here is instead of having it just a color, I'm going to do a gradient because that doesn't look nice. I mean, and all these things, remember, all this is up to you. So let's say I'm going to click on this side, then go here to this little color thing, and it needs to be light enough and dark enough at the same time. So let's do this lighter, and then I'll click on this side. Hopefully this works out. I'm not really sure. And that's fine. Let's see what that looks like. That's not that bad. Let's. I want to adjust that just a little bit more. Oh my god. Another one. Custom. Click. I think the dark color is the problem, not the lighter version. Let's just keep it with this purple like I had before. I'll just leave it like that, and then I'll adjust it later. All right, so now I need another layer here for my city. Let's do this again. And if you want more layers for your city, that's fine. You might be able to get away with cutting and pasting for your city. Holding shift, click. Just taking my time here. Not too much time, but enough. And some of these buildings and things will get covered up because we're going to put like, up to you, but like mountains or trees or something like that in front. there again. There we go, and let's connect this. Let's give this a different color. So now it's starting to look city-ish. I still don't like the color here, but you know, I can adjust that later. And because we need to have something that we're going to animate, typically for these, we're looking at just making like a bridge or something, and then we'll put like a car driving across. So I'm gonna put like a mountain on either side and then a bridge across the middle. And then again, we might need to move this up just so you can see everything. And you can see, you know, I don't like this because it's fading too much into the background, but that's for right now, it's fine. All right, so let's get a mountain on either side. Same tool, Polyline, very similar to how we did before. We're going to say, and this time we don't have to hold shift because we're just trying to make it look jagged like a mountain. And again, if you want to put, you know, trees or something on here, that's fine. I'll throw a couple of trees on mine just so you have an idea of what, you know, a tree would be like. So that's one side of my mountain. This is like pretty close, so I'm gonna make it darker again. Go back to Polyline. I'm gonna just add a little bit more mountain in front. Because this one is all the way in front, this will be the darkest purple color that we have. And make sure the line is not there. Okay, so I got that side, we got to do the other side. Same tool again. And I'm trying to make this one get closer so that way I don't have to do as much work for my bridge. And it was this purple, and one more with the darker purple. All right, just about there. All right, and our bridge is really just going to be a line across here. And as you can see, it's starting to look a little bit more city-like. We got to add detail, but we're not going to do as much as that today. We can work on that tomorrow, you know. Let's do little steps. All right, so let's put a line, and I got the rectangle tool. We're going to put a line across here, put 2. So I'm just going to connect it, boom, take the line off or the outline, then I'm going to make it the same purple, like that, you see. Then I'm going to, so you got to be careful because now I have all these things on here to select. I selected the wrong thing, so I want to take my time and select the bridge. All right, I'm gonna Control C, Control V that, and I'll make this part a little bit bigger. If you need to zoom in because all this stuff is about to get really hectic, you can go to here. It says zoom or magnifying glass. Click on that, and then you see I get a little magnifying glass, and you can just zoom in on an area. That helps. So let's go back to the arrow, and then you see you can select stuff a little bit easier. All right, but I want to have up to you. So like you can do a rectangle again. You can just put lines, or put a square or a rectangle, and then that makes a line. Or you can go and get the line tool and just go back to regular old line, and then you can draw like a line, right? And then change the outline color for the line to the color that you want. And then that makes, I gotta click on something else. And that makes kind of like a vertical line. And then if you want it to be thicker, like lines, you just go to the line weight, and then you'll make that thicker. So that looks kind of cool. Let's put another one of these, so I can just select, say Control C, Control V, move that over. And now we have that. So let's copy that. I'm gonna get all of this together. Select, I'm holding Control. You gotta take your time, select, yep, and select, Control C, Control V. And then I'm gonna move all of that together and put one there. And we'll put one here. Okay, let me zoom out here. So this time I'll say fit. And you see now that looks more like my bridge. I'm gonna put some rectangles at the bottom because that bridge isn't just gonna float. So I'm gonna put a rectangle here. That's what's holding it up. And change the color. Take the outline off, or make it transparent. And I did the wrong color. Uh-oh. I gotta find it. There it is. All right. So now I need another one of those. There you go. So now this is my city. I mean, for today, let's leave it like that, and then tomorrow we can do some more detail. So let's see what this looks like. So this is what my city's looking like now. It's not that bad. So like I said, let's leave it like that for today. We'll do detail like the lights for the windows, and maybe we'll start putting like towers and stuff like that. We can build our little car, so that way we're gonna animate the car going across like in the examples. We can make the moon move or clouds move, all those different things, but those will be the details. So today was the setup, tomorrow will be the details. All right, for this section, I'm done.